Hello everyone, welcome to day 15th of May LeetCode Challenge, and today's question is valid number. In the question we are given a string and we need to tell whether this represents a valid number or not. There are a few rules that are specified in the question which we need to abide to. Without much ado, let's look at the presentation that I have created for this and let's get started. Let me just start the slideshow. Let me just take a pen. I've given a brief introduction about the question. The question says we are given one number here, then e, then the exponent power. This is a scientific annotation and we need to tell whether the number is in this format or not. So I hope you get a gist of the question. Also, if you see this question in any of your interviews, remember, it's not a hard question to do. It's a tricky question in terms of identifying plenty of test cases and writing the most readable code there. The interviewer is looking at your capabilities, how well you will be able to think of plethora of test cases and represent your thought in terms of code. So let's get started. A number is a valid number if it is in the given format. And let's talk about the format that we need to abide to. The first one is that we may have the sign at the starting index, that means the 0th index, followed by the number itself. So this is the component coefficient part. The first number identifies a coefficient and it can be of two types, one without a decimal separation, another one with the decimal separation. So let's talk about the extreme case where we'll have the decimal separation. The first part will have numbers starting from 0 to 9 followed by a decimal point, that means a single decimal only. Then again we'll have numbers starting from 0 to 9. So this represents the decimal part, this represents the numeric part. After that we may have e, which identifies that we need to raise this number to some power of 10, and it can be represented in two formats, capital E and small e, followed by a sign. We may have a sign here, we may not have a sign here. So there are two possibilities, plus, minus or nothing, followed by the number itself. Remember, this time we cannot afford to have a decimal separation in between. So this will be a numeric number itself without any decimal separation. Once you have gone through this regex format, let's talk about what negative cases can you identify from this. The first one says a decimal point after a decimal seen in the past. If that is the case, then we need to return false. So let's write an example. So if you see something like 0.7 dot, again a dot, that means you witnessed a decimal point in the past and again you are seeing a decimal point. It's not a valid number, you need to return false from it. The second case says a decimal point in the power value. So we talked about we cannot afford to have a decimal in the power value, so we'll return false from that case. Let's talk about one possibility, 0.7 e 2.5. So we can't have a decimal number in the exponent part, so we will say it's an invalid number and return false from it. Let's talk about the third case, e again after an exponent seen in the past. So it's a case of dual or multiple e's. In those cases we'll return false. Let's write one possible test case, 0.7 e 2 e. Again we saw an e a second time, so we'll return false from it. Let's talk about the fourth case, e without a prefixed number. So what does it mean? You don't have the coefficient part and the number is starting something like e10. So it's not a valid number because there is no component part of that number. So we'll reject and say it's a false case, it's an invalid number. So let's talk about the next case. Positive or negative numbers occurs at any index except 0 or any index other than index of e plus 1. So I highlighted the 0th index here. Sign can only come at this position, or we need to identify whatever the index of e is. Just after this index we are allowed to have a sign, which is highlighted as this part. So sign can come at two indexes. One is at the 0th index and other one being the index of e plus 1. I hope this part is clear to you. And in case it occurs at any other index apart from these two indexes, it's an invalid case. So let's just talk about it. Write one example of it. 0.7 plus e. So plus e is coming at an intermediary index, so we'll return false from that. Let's talk about the last case. See any other character apart from 0 to 9, positive, negative, or e. E includes both capital E and small e. I hope these test cases are clear to you, and let's just walk through the code. The first thing that I have written here is the corner cases. For example, this input string is null or the string length is 0. We'll return false from it. Also, I forgot to mention one important aspect in the presentation, that we need to trim the string so that the white spaces on the left side and the right side are gone and we are only operating on other characters. Just after that, I have initialized few numbers, few booleans that signifies whether we have seen a number in the past or not, whether we have seen an e in the past or not, and whether we have seen a decimal in the past or not. Before doing any operation, I have trimmed the value of s so that the white spaces on the left and the right side are gone. And let's just start the iteration. So I extracted the first character, each character at the ith index, and the core of the heart of the problem lies in writing this switch case well. So let's talk about various cases here. The first one being case 1, which signifies a decimal point. So if you have already seen a decimal point in the past, or you have seen the exponential part in the past, you have already seen the exponential part, that means you need to return false, because more than one decimal cannot exist in the same number, and e cannot have the exponential part, exponential number cannot have a decimal in between, so we return false from it. The first two cases that I discussed. Otherwise, I toggle the flag for the decimal part to be true, and I have written a break condition after this. The second case is whether we are seeing a capital E or a small e. Both the cases lie under the same umbrella, and let's talk about what if condition should be included there. If we have seen an e in the past, we need to return false, which is pretty straightforward. Or we have not seen the number so far, so the case where e comes something like, the number is something like this, e10, so it's not a valid number and we need to return false. The component part must exist, and therefore the second condition is there. Otherwise, if it's not a failure case, I have toggled the flag to true. Also, I have reset the number scene flag to false. Let's understand why. Let's assume the input expression is something like this, 123 E78. That means when we initially saw a number 123, we toggled this flag to true, and now when we are seeing E again, then we reset the number scene flag to false for the incoming new number for the exponent part. So this was for the coefficient part and this was for the exponent part. Therefore, we have to toggle it back to false. And let's move on to the next test case where we see plus or minus signs. What are the two indexes where they hold true? 0th index or the index of E plus 1. That means the previous index with respect to the current index should hold a value E. If that is not the case, then we'll return false from it. Otherwise, we'll update the number scene flag to false for the same test case. For example, you have seen plus 123 E plus 78. So we are also updating number scene flag here as well. And what is the default case? Default case is if you don't see a digit, then you return false from it. Otherwise, you update the number scene flag to true. here we took care of the decimal part, capital E, small e, positive signs, negative signs, and the digit cases. I've also written a helper method for it. If the current character lies is greater than 0 or is less than 9, then it's a valid digit. I hope this logic is clear to you. Apart from this, there's one important aspect that we need to take care of. In the end, we don't need to return true from here, rather we need to return whatever the value of number seen is. Let's assume a hypothetical case where the input string is given to us as a simple decimal point. So as per this switch case, everything will be returned safely because you saw a decimal point and you have not seen it in the past, so you'll update the decimal seen to true and break, and you are out of this loop. However, you haven't seen any number in the past, so whatever the value of number seen is, you have to simply return it. Let's try this up. Let me just click on the submit button and see what happens. Accepted. What is the time complexity of this approach? The time complexity of this approach is order of n, because you are iterating over the length of the input string, and the space complexity for this logic is order of 1 because we are not using any extra space. Hope you liked today's session. If you liked it, please don't forget to share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day ahead. Thanks for watching it.